Hi everybody, good morning. You're watching CXO Tech Dialogue. Please welcome our guest Atanu Roy, Group CIO Biocon, and Sandeep Bure, Managing Director VM Software India and SAC. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm pleased to see you today.
Same here.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So we have a very interesting and a pressing topic for today's fireside chat, which is data management in pharmaceutical and life sciences sector. We all understand that data has always been the lifeblood of business. With the sudden global lockdown due to COVID-19, the value of data, its availability and security has raised manyfold, specifically in healthcare and pharmaceuticals. So irrespective of where the data resides, it should be available to ensure continuity and consistency in customer experience. For that, our CIO has to ensure a robust data management plan comprising of business continuity, data recovery, and data protection. With this premise, we want to explore how pharma organizations are devising their roadmap for data management and recovery. Let's first understand the challenges that organizations face from Atanu. So, Atanu, I'll start with you first. As an organization that was trying to continue its way through the pandemic, what were your three key challenges with regards to data availability and management?
Obviously, the lockdown happened suddenly. And so first thing, and pharma and life sciences sector was considered as part of essential services. So we had to run operations and, ensure that supply of medicines products are manufactured as well as distributed throughout the country, because that was extremely important. So what we found suddenly is for that entire value chain to operate with people working from their homes, how did you, while our systems, company systems can operate remotely, and that was always there, how can we make the ecosystem work? For example, we had to get our raw material supplies to our factories. We had to make payments to our vendors. Then only we will get the raw materials, and then we had to distribute. So we had to make our applications and deploy these applications for our logistics partners, for our distribution centers. And so not only we had to take care of our own systems which can work remotely, but also quickly build applications for the ecosystem and make that work remotely. So that is one part of it. And then all this data had to be kept secure. Similarly, when we are conducting clinical trials, we had to ensure that the clinical trials continue, because the manufacturing and the research on the drugs has to continue. And all that data is kept secure. So one is to have many applications built very fast and make them and deploy them, and then keep the data secure. So that was the first challenge. How do you build new applications, deploy it quickly for many people who are not within your company but over the ecosystem? So these applications have to be very intuitive. People should be able to adopt these applications fast. They might not be very digitally literate, but they should be able to adopt these applications. Many of the transporters had never used a mobile app, sophisticated mobile app. So all that thing had to happen. The second part was, while we are on a mass scale, second challenge was on a mass scale, when you are deploying applications which can be accessed from anywhere, and this is making that access happen is easy, but how do you secure it so that virus attacks, ransomware attacks can be avoided, prevented? So that was the second challenge. How do you ensure that you have, cast iron tight security, watertight security, while you have ease of access from people to access it from anywhere? The third big challenge was that in case there is a ransomware attack or any such type of virus attack, how you store your data securely? How do you keep the data, all the data which are generated in the company, so that you can retrieve the data immediately And why that becomes so important is that is where the pharmaceutical industry comes into perspective, where, for the entire value chain, all data has to be maintained in a secure way. Everything has to be maintained. For each drug, each pill which you take, right from the raw material which has gone to that pill and what went in the manufacturing, that entire data has to be maintained. It is required for compliance, as well as if there is a problem, then you should be able to trace back and do that. So all data, whatever is generated in producing that pill, has to be retained securely, so that if there is an attack of ransomware or virus, you should be able to retrieve that data in a very quick manner. So these were the three challenges, in my opinion.
Sandeep, what is your view that how technology can be an enabler in actually meeting these challenges?
Athanu, I think, very clearly pointed out the operational challenges, particularly in the pandemic time, on how to keep the business up and running, the challenges around supply chain, the challenges around quick delivery of applications to the end users, and also around protecting the critical information against ransomware attack. Which could actually bring your business to a standstill. So, we have observed this very well pointed out trend by Athanu, and a challenge rather across the industry. And, particularly, looking at 2021 and 22 and beyond, I think, businesses, pharma companies have come to the realization that, well, there are a lot of things missing as far as the data management is concerned, and how do you use technology to really transform, your business for the next decade. So, let me try to point out a few observations here, when I'm talking to CIOs across the industry. Some of the gaps, right? Healthcare companies, pharma firms have kind of adopted SaaS applications, something like, let's say, O365. Teams has become a kind of de facto collaboration tool, across organizations, and it is a compliance requirement to kind of protect all the information or the recordings of the team's meeting, because that's part of your business as usual, and it's important data. As goes the ransomware attacks and the defense against ransomware, I think it's not about if, it's when. So in spite of all the protection measures and the security measures that businesses have taken, many believe that it's an imminent event. The question is, how quickly can you recover from a ransomware attack? So Veeam has taken a very different approach, quite transformative as compared to the other traditional players in the backup industry, where we are helping customers to secure their backup data, completely immutable from and protected from the ransomware attacks. So we could help do that with on-prem storage appliances, or even push that data to cloud and make it completely ransomware proof. So that's, I think, something that is missing, and I'm quite sure that organizations are going to look at this particular element from their IT strategy and security standpoint. The third and key observation is around compliance and backup retention. So this is very very important for particularly compliance-driven industries like pharma. The reason being that, well, you have to kind of adhere to the law of the land. If you're doing business outside, then the regulatory authorities like the US FDA and so on and so forth. And what has been happening traditionally, so far, is a huge amount of budgets, or spending gets allocated to the litigations and driving the compliance, and these are basically post facto events. So once you get into a challenge around the legal processes is when you start kind of spending that money. Organizations are likely to kind of look at a better allocation of budget. And this is what I see happening, is instead of trying to be reactive, you proactively trying to build in SOPs and allocate IT budgets to those technologies that could rather help you comply than react to requirements from the litigation or from the legal standpoint. Finally, I would say, the leaders in the space, and I'm sure Atanu has a big kind of mind share for cloud first as a strategy. This is like, happening with most of the leading pharma companies. They are taking a view that cloud first is a very important aspect of their IT strategy as they get into the next decade. So I think, from what happened in the last year to how things have changed now, is the perspective of how you run the business. How do you run the pharma business for the next decade and transform your IT infra to transform the business. So that's where we have been helping our customers to look at backup, not just as a recovery tool, but to do a whole lot of things that traditional backup softwares have not been doing, and help customers move into the realms of cloud data management, address the missing pieces of cloud data management.
Pharma companies, Atanu, were at the forefront of fighting the pandemic along with others, and were also equally tasked to keep the business afloat. Where would you place the cloud infrastructure and cloud data in terms of your primary technology priorities? And did you see any acceleration in your cloud adoption, especially the hybrid cloud?
So there are two things. One is that, as I said, that there were three challenges which were there. So quicker deployment of applications and ability to access applications. And that is where cloud became an essential thing, because we could work remotely and my partners could work remotely, build applications and deploy that on the cloud so that the ecosystem can access it, and within the company also people can access it. Similarly, there were applications which were already developed, and that is where the hybrid cloud comes in, where already developed applications which possibly was on-prem, having them, having that hybrid model helped in access of those applications as well as the data backup. Now, the data retention, which had to be done, and that is where the cloud environment and the hybrid cloud environment actually help, because we have to retain data as well as we have to, for various regulatory audits which are there, we have to ensure that the data is, we are able to restore the data very quickly. And so these are the areas where actually cloud help. And many applications which got, especially the communication applications for people to work together, like Zoom, Teams. Now, many of these are natively cloud applications itself. So many of these applications actually got deployed sometimes before the pandemic, and it accelerated its use. People started using it. People found innovative use of these technologies. So the collaboration tools found many different use which were not earlier visualized in the past, and these are natively hosted. These are cloud applications as such. So even usage of technologies like augmented reality, virtual reality, which help people collaborate, and the expert sitting somewhere helping, guiding complex operations in the plant, somebody else to do it, those type of applications also, faster deployment. And faster deployment is so very important thing. This is where the cloud, and it is not only the cloud, but it is also the bandwidth and MPLS and connectivity availability in the company. These combination, I thought was extremely useful. And going forward, so what I found is many of my applications before the pandemic, the adoption was 7%. I had a vendor portal where the adoption was 7%. In pandemic, the adoption reached in 2 weeks' time close to 99%. So people who were not using these applications were forced to use it, and that changed their behavior. And now, though they can do it in the offline mode, in the earlier way, now people are not going to it. Now that they have tasted success and the comfort of doing it through the new way, they will continue. So it is like a mind which has expanded, and now people will continue. They will not go back to the original shape. So going forward, since the mindset of people within the company and in the ecosystem have changed, people want to use applications remotely. They want to use more applications which can help them do transactions. Like, for example, if I take Google Pay, people are using all these payment apps. And now, even if you can pay by the normal way, people will continue using these payment apps which are there. And similarly, in the organizations, it has already made a change in the mindset and the working culture. The change management, which was so difficult earlier, has happened because of the pandemic. So this pandemic has helped in digital transformation, and this journey is going to continue. This digital transformation is enabled through significant amount of cloud infrastructure, the data retention, data security, data backup, which are so very important for pharma. And I think the same trend is going to only accelerate going forward.
Yeah, right. So Sandeep, what's your view? What's your take? If you can tell us in brief about the situation from data availability and management perspective, pre-pandemic, during the pandemic, and post-pandemic.
Yeah, so in complete agreement with what Atanu suggested, I think we spoke a lot about, and a lot has been spoken about, pre-pandemic and during the pandemic. So I'll rather, Kalpana, take a few minutes to talk about how organizations are looking at their backup strategy, post-pandemic and over the next few years as they accelerate on hybrid cloud and adoption of SaaS and a multi-cloud strategy. So the need for backup is never going to go down. There will be need for compliance as you move into a cloud-first world. So just to give you a simple example, as more and more organizations, particularly pharma, look at O365 as a very key enabling tool for communication and collaboration, including Teams application. I think they are realizing that it is very important to have a very regular backup of the content and the data. And this is what even Microsoft is suggesting to its customers, that while it is responsible for the uptime, the protection, the responsibility of protecting the data lies entirely with the customer. Same applies for Teams. And when you look at the independent vendors or consultants like IDC and Gartner's, they are suggesting and advising their customers to adopt a very robust enterprise grade backup technology as a strategy to mitigate the risk around loss of data in an Office 365 environment, because it's not only about risking the data but also about risking the reputation of the organization. And I think that's what is getting very well recognized now. Coming to some fundamental things around backup and protecting the information, I see a shift in how organizations are looking at software defined as an approach to lead the backup and availability transformation. Moving away from the traditional approach like a appliance, which kind of potentially suggests that it's quite easy to use and one neck to choke and so on. But then eventually organizations have found that it's a very expensive proposition. Now, when it comes to software defined and easy to use platforms like what we have to deliver, so we not only give the value around ease of use, but also help build a complete software-defined and a hardware-agnostic approach to backup and availability and cloud data management. Organizations are looking at reusing all the backup information, and particularly talking about pharma companies. One key challenge is that they have is information is quite disparate. So there could be multiple factories or manufacturing units. There could be logistical centers out there. Then what Atanu pointed out in terms of distribution of data. So there's data center and then cloud and so on and so forth. So when you are protecting all of this data, which could be kind of lying anywhere in the enterprise or in the cloud, is there a way in which you can reuse all of this data that you are protecting or backing up? So that is what is really driving and delivering value for the business. And Veeam has been helping customers there. We believe that customers are interested in leveraging all the backup data that they have accumulated and going to accumulate over the next so many years of their business to drive more value for their business. So the value could be in terms of using AI and ML tools to derive more intelligence out of this backup data which is being reused. What Atanu pointed out as to rapid application development and delivery. So how can you use backup data for rapid application development? Can you do test and development? And this is what we've been helping customers with. Use your backup data to do faster application testing and development, and then use your tools to kind of deliver it to your larger ecosystem. Can you really help reuse this data to throw alerts around impending ransomware attacks? And the answer is yes. So I think there is a lot of change in the expectations that organizations have from backup, and it's kind of moving into the realms of cloud data management. Many customers are kind of looking at containers as a strategy, and Veeam has taken a lead there. So we offer under the same platform ability to protect Kubernetes and container workloads. So not only do we kind of do extremely good job on physical, virtual, and cloud, and we moved a step beyond that. So that's essentially what we are doing, and as a vision to be the most trusted provider of cloud data of backup solutions to deliver on cloud data management.
Yeah. So Sandeep, you have brought in very relevant points about the data security, and definitely Atanu, I mean, not only it's about the data loss, but regulatory action followed a cyber attack is again reputational damage for the organization. Yes. So how did you face this challenge, Atanu, at Biocon, and what do you need to protect your organization from such ransomware attacks?
So all the different modes which are there for ransomware attack to come in, and in a connected environment, it is becoming much more easier for these attacks to happen. When we had isolated factory, then factories were secure because they are not connected to internet, to the outside world. They don't have emails. The machines are working on its own. So the chances where a ransomware attack crippling a factory was almost not there. So ransomware attacks will cripple your IT systems. But today we have connected factory where the operational technology and information technology systems are connected. So a ransomware attack can actually cripple a factory from producing drugs. So it is a very serious thing. So the way we are doing is that first is protect the periphery, make things as isolated as possible so that even if an attack happens, you are able to, don't allow it to propagate. Create for your crown jewels, create honeypots. Create so that the attacks get attracted to the honeypots, and then you do an active threat hunting. You go back, don't only have a defensive posture, but go to a defense offense posture and go after the attacker. Continuously remain vigilant and paranoid and keep checking your entire organization. Follow the discipline very well, because it is actually a human carelessness, if I may use the word, with so many employees in the organization, somebody putting password in a text file and keeping it in a shared drive, somebody, and these are all small things, though we say change password, have complex password. People use the same password what they're using in LinkedIn and Facebook in their office systems. Those things of, so multi-factor authentication, making passwords more secure. Social engineering is used for people to hack into the system. So if there are things like for password rechange, self-service password rechange, if you have secret questions like who is your mother's maiden name and all, it is so easy to crack, because from the Facebook one can find out what is the mother's maiden name. So we have to have some amount of sophistication in how we secure various things. Human beings have to follow the employees have to be constantly educated, and that is where, because if each employee is safe, then the organization is safe. And I see user awareness in Indian organizations, we have a long way to go. People think that information security is that IT team's job. It is not. It is everybody's job. And so, because it is, there is a technology, people and process angle to cyber security. So just to cut the long story short, there are multi-layered protection. So protect the periphery, all layers. If an attack happens, one has to constantly be vigilant so that you identify it and don't allow it to propagate, neutralize it, have honeypots to draw the attacker to the honeypot, and then do an active threat hunting, take a defensive offensive approach, educate your people significantly, create islands on automation. Your crown jewels should be if say Parliament House, Bhabha Atomic Research Center, IISc Bangalore, these are your crown jewels in the country, then you would protect them very well. Even if there is a terrorist attack or a terrorist comes to the country and there are sleeper cells, you are able to protect your crown jewels. So the way physical things are managed from a terrorist attack perspective, we need to take similar mindset when you are handling cyber attacks.
Right. Very well said, Atanu. And as you rightly said, data protection, the security is not just has to be pushed by the management in an organization, but it's the people who are working on that data. So
yes,
they need to flag. Yeah.
And just to add to that, so that there will be multiple layers of defenses, but the last aspect is, if your crown jewel are attacked and encrypted, then how quickly can you recover? And that is where having backups and drills which needs to be done so that you can recover at the least amount of time is extremely important.
Yeah. Okay, so compliance is a growing concern, Atanu, with more governments and industries enacting regulations and data security and privacy. So among global IT leaders, 69% cited the inability to meet compliance requirements as a challenge when implementing their hybrid IT strategy. How do you deal with it?
Actually, you have to take it as an advantage. I think banking, pharma are two industries where regulations, and also automotive, but these two have high degree of regulations. So if we look at regulation, I need to have a separate task force, separate infrastructure, separate effort to do regulations, then, and that doesn't add any value to me, then we will always be with the thought that, I cannot do enough. And this is an unnecessary burden on mine. But if I combine it, that I will do these things also to digitize my company and have paperless operations and improve productivity of the company. And so it is not a wastage. and not an additional burden, but rather I use this to improve my productivity, I generate more data, and hence I get insights from that data. It helps me to do my job better. When I combine that, then it is no longer uh, uh, it is not difficult to comply, but it becomes a driver for my business. For instance, mm, data integrity is extremely important in pharma. So achieving 21 CFR Part 11 is so very important thing. And traditionally, people had been doing this on pen and paper. And there used to be reviewers who used to review all that thing. So there is so much of work which used to get done. And what was the value it was generating? Actually, nothing. You have to just comply. You are doing it to comply to the regulations. And you are ensuring and assuring everybody that, yes, my production, manufacturing is as per the regulatory norms, and I'm assuring that my patient safety is adhered to. But now, if I digitize everything, then the algorithms is going to do all these review mechanisms. So I can adhere to all the regulations. I'm adhering to regulations much faster. At the same time, I'm increasing significant productivity in the organization. So it will no longer be a burden to adhere to regulations, but rather than that, it will be a boon for the organization. And I have seen that happen.
Yeah.
If the whole thing is architected in a smarter way.
Yeah. So, Sandeep, what is your perspective on this? What take do you have?
While the transformation around IT and business is happening across the board, I think organizations are taking a very serious view on using technology as an enabler to boost productivity, to improve on compliance, and what Atanu pointed out very relevantly, that it's actually a boon. So using technology for compliance is a boon because it can really accelerate that whole process and bring in more productivity for you instead of looking at archaic ways of meeting the regulatory needs.
Yeah. So, Sandeep, what are your key suggestions for enterprises when it comes to hybrid cloud? And how can companies make use of technologies to automate services to help enable workloads and data to be used across multiple infrastructure or environments?
Yeah, so I think to the core of the IT strategy, is cloud data management, because I spoke about it in brief. It's not just about the resiliency of the business. I think backup is given. You've got to protect the data. Organizations have been doing it for decades, and you've got to continue doing it. As long as the business exists. It is about how quickly can you recover or bring back your business. How well have you built your systems? The availability platform to drive agility for your business. Can your availability platform and cloud data management help you in generating reports that will guarantee or comfort the internal auditors or the regulatory authorities that your business is quite healthy? In a cloud first world, how well are you geared to orchestrate your workloads in a way that you optimally run your business without any interruptions, whether it is cloud A or cloud B. You're talking, customers could be using AWS and Azure and GCP, and looking at the ability of migrating workloads, and even possibly looking at the local cloud service providers. So how do, and plus you have all these disparate systems and your data centers. So how agile is the business to really orchestrate all of this workloads, so that you can optimally leverage all this environment around you to drive better business, and then while doing that how well can you comply and govern your business. So I think next decade is going to be about transformation and cloud data management for driving growth and increasing profitability for every business, and pharma is going to be in the forefront.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sandeep, and thank you so much, Atanu, for joining us today. And we really had some great insights from both of you. Thank you all for being here, and that was a very interesting and an informative discussion with both of you. So while Atanu very well elicited the impending challenges and few best practices that pharma organizations follow in data management and compliance, and Sandeep gave quite in-depth insights on the solutions and how organizations could address their data and hybrid cloud challenges.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kalpana. Thanks, Sandeep.
Thank you very much, Atanu. Always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you so much, Kalpana. It was a very interesting discussion.
Yeah,
Take care and stay safe, all of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.